Daddy, if you ever come across this video, I hope you are so proud of the woman that I am becoming. I love you so, so much. I am very, very sorry for just the way that the grudge that I've held over the years, the way that I've acted. Hey y'all, welcome or welcome back to Soulful Key. If this is your first time here, baby, don't worry. I consider you a VIP. But if you're an OG and you know me, thank you for supporting Key. Okay, so I felt like it was only right for me to go back some more and talk about my relationship with my father because I feel like it would really explain as I'm going through this journey and I'm telling y'all about my relationships and how questionable they were, why I perceived myself in certain ways, why I had so much low self esteem and low value, and things that I'm still currently working through today. How to really understand the role that my absent father played in some of my decisions and my choices when it comes to carnality and relationships. Now, by no means is this to bash my father. I love my father. I believe that my father certainly meant well. I don't hold anything against him. I believe that our parents literally did the best that they could with what they had and what they knew. I still desire a relationship with my father. If it happens, great. If not, that's okay too. I just kind of wanted to unpack my relationship and things that I remember about my upbringing when it came to me and my father. Without any more extra mumbo jumbo, if y'all are ready to get into this video, let's do it. So, y'all can see by the title, y'all already know. Y'all know what I'm about to say. I say it all the time. We're gonna get into some stuff. From my understanding, when my mother told my father that she was pregnant with me, he packed all of his things, and when she came home from work, he was no longer there. How I met my father was me and my mom were actually walking downtown, and we passed him. We were going this way, he was going this way. And we walked past him, and of course, my mom knew who he was. I didn't know. But she stopped, like they stopped and they, hey, how's it going? Hey. And I'm just standing there like, because I don't know who this man is. I never met this man before. But when my mom introduced him, and I feel like she introduced him as my father, that kind of just opened up so many questions. Because I don't think before I met him, I really asked much, or if I did, whatever my mom told me at the time, that was what I had to go off of. So I really didn't push the issue anymore. But I always wanted to know who my father was and what type of guy what type of man he was. After we met, I just remember things moving like extremely fast. I remember I met him and my mom like actually started dating. They think I know they were getting married, and he moved in, and yeah, so I do not remember like the timeline and when things happened because I was so young. It was like everything fell into place. My dad also has three other children by his first wife. Finding that out made me feel really rejected and abandoned. Kind of got, used to not ever having the thought of meeting my father and having a relationship with my father. From me knowing that he was present in their lives growing up and not present in mine, that made me feel some type of way. Why I got to be a black sheep? Like y'all all grew up together, and then there's me. So apparent that I'm the outcast. So anyway, we are living together, and we're this big happy family. Things are going well. Like I remember my dad being very, very present. He was working. I remember my dad was the only one that was driving, and so he would take me to the movies or the mall to meet my friends. Like he was very, very present, and it just felt so right. It felt like, oh my gosh, like I got my mom, my dad. It just felt really, really good. Then I remember there were times where my dad would not come home at night. I didn't understand why. I could start seeing that it would affect my mom's mood. I remember him like yelling and getting kind of irate, but I don't ever remember my mom yelling back or them arguing or doing anything like that. So I started getting like way out of hand to the point where I was like, don't come at all. I don't know how long after they got married all of this stuff started transpiring. I just remember events, and I did not ask a lot of questions. I assumed and I drew my own conclusions, and I feel like, oh my gosh, y'all, that right there it just started a whirlwind of stuff because I had questions did not get answered. So in turn, I just started creating my own scenario. I remember him moving out. When he moved out, I don't remember the conversation. I don't remember if I even asked why he moved out, but he moved out and it was just like no more talk about him. And then he came back. And then when he came back, it was like we are this big happy family again and nothing happened and we're just going to pick up where we left off and keep moving. I'm like, okay, more questions. That's because now I'm dealing with him leaving, me not knowing why he left. So now I'm creating my own scenario. It's all because of me. It's all because he don't want nothing to do with me. He don't like me. He got other kids. On top of that, I'm in school and I'm also being bullied. So I'm being bullied at school and I'm also dealing with issues at home. I'm feeling like that. I finally got dad came in and saved the day. And now there's this like tumultuous relationship between him and my mother. And I don't know why. That I feel like went on for some time. The in and out, the leaving and coming back, the no explaining, the questions in the air. Each and every time, nobody talked about why he left. Nobody talked about why he came back. There was no conversation. So it just left my mind. And the last memory I really, really have of my father is one night, I don't know, he was just like irate and I was sleeping and I don't even remember him and my mom like going at it. I don't know if they were going at it. I have no idea. But what I do remember is my mom woke me up in the middle of the night and she was like, Keena, you gotta get up. You gotta get up. Please come downstairs with me. And as we are coming around the corner, my dad is standing there with the biggest butcher knife in his hand. I don't know what the vibe was that night, but all I know is that my mom was like, you can have everything in this house, we're leaving. And that's exactly what we did. She called her brother, my aunt, they came and got us and we left and went to Charleston. And that honestly, I feel like is the last memory. We stayed in Charleston for maybe like a couple days, came back and he was no longer here. And that's honestly the last memory I really have of my dad. The whole time was I feel like was very, very scary and traumatic for my mom and for me because I didn't know what was going on. I woke up out of my sleep to that. I noticed that when I was trying to build a relationship with God, it was so hard because it was hard for me to look at him as a father because I looked at him through the same lens that I was looking at my own dad through. So it's like if my dad would just up and leave without no explanation, don't care, don't, whatever, whatever, then God, you'll do the same. Like I really had these thoughts like, you don't love me like that. You don't really care about me when that's not the case. Created in my mind almost to calm the anxiety, the worry, the fear, the insecurity that I had as a child. In my adulthood, I'm starting to see it manifest, and I'm afraid of people leaving, real hard abandonment issues, and I'm struggling in my relationships. I'm struggling to be present. Like, there's just so much that I feel like was not addressed in my childhood that carried on, and now I'm having to reparent and reteach and comfort that little girl that did not get what she needed when she was 8, 9, 10, 11. Definitely spoke to my father plenty of times after that, but the relationship was just kind of strained. You could tell that it was difficult for us to really connect because I had so much anger and hostility. Don't come over here if you're not here to stay. I really had to get to a point where I could truly forgive my father, be thankful, because it's so easy for us to look at a situation and become so thrown off. I was so upset that my father raised his three other children and decided to not be a part of my life. It wasn't that he was locked up, it wasn't that he was in a grave, it's just that he decided not to. It created such a like ball of insecurity and unworthiness within me that it just made me feel like anybody that I ever came across that I truly adored, and I'm not even just talking about male relationships, I'm talking about relationships with my coworkers, friendships, family, anybody that I come across and I become really attached with. It is so hard for me to pull away. It's so hard for me to detach, even when I know that it is so unhealthy for me. But in the past, I would have very, very much rather you staying here and me having the comfort of you being here, as toxic as it was, than to be by myself. Anytime I felt like somebody potentially did not want me, would send me into oblivion. Me feeling like I'm ignored, me feeling like I'm rejected, me feeling like I'm looked over, picked over, y'all. that, along with the fact that I was in school, the places that I'm spending the most time at, which is at home and at school, I am having the most trouble. Back then, y'all, therapy wasn't nobody thinking about no therapy. I realize now how much that played a role in my relationships in my adulthood. And I just want to encourage anybody that has also gone through absent father, whether your father was physically there but mentally and emotionally absent, or if he just wasn't there at all. When I first started trying to build my relationship with God, and I started calling him daddy, and it was the cringiest thing ever, like so cringe. And I really felt like God was just telling me to relax. For one, like to not even look at him as a father first. I really want to encourage you that God is a true father, y'all. Like, I did not trust God. I did not know God. So it was very hard for me to look at God as a father. But the more that I spent time with him, the more that I realized how he felt about me, the more that I would read and I would study and I would just feel a presence so heavy, so comforting, lean into that feeling. One day I was journaling and I started calling God Papa. And it has stuck ever since. That is my Papa. Everybody know if I say Papa, I'm talking about Big G, not the little one, okay? Take your time. God is a patient and loving Father, y'all. And he has swooped in. And while I am still very presently going through and unlearning the habits that I've learned, as I'm still walking through this journey, we can look at things as like such a God, why would you do this to me? But I want to start looking at things as God, thank you for doing this for me. Because I don't know, honestly, the relationship that my dad had with his other kids. It could have been a very abusive household. And because he was not with me, I didn't have to go through that, you know? So just finding different ways to look at it from a different perspective. I just want to say that, Daddy, if you ever come across this video, I hope you are so proud of the woman that I am becoming. I love you so, so much. I am very, very sorry for just the way that the grudge that I've held over the years, the way that I've acted. I miss you. I hope you are doing well. I know I be trying not to have these videos be too long, but once I start getting into these relationships, y'all, and I start telling y'all how your girl was cutting up, y'all gonna understand. Also understand why I go so hard behind God. I go so hard behind God because he really swooped in and saved the day, like the knight in shining armor. He is. Yeah, I say that all the time. That man's so good to me because when I wasn't checking for him, I ain't want to have nothing to do with him for real, for real. Me saying that I know him, but I don't follow him. That's the homie, you know. That's my papa. So thank y'all so much for tuning into this video and going down memory lane with me. Don't forget to like, subscribe to your girl, join the fam. We would love to have you. I would love to have all my VIPs turn into OGs. Y'all already know the vibes. From Carnal to Christ, Diary of a Sinner. I'm out. Peace.